Alright, well, tires are started. See if I can get some shot of the pattern here. It took a minute to figure out how to get that pattern even all the way around the tire. Both tires. I didn't want to load them completely up, you know, like a million. There's about 50 in each tire. That pattern all the way around. I'm running them 15 pounds of tire pressure, and so far, just coming here, they're a little noisy. But we're going to get off on some dirt roads here and really try them out. So basically, I just want to see if they'll stay in. And if you all are wondering, how the hell did you do that without blowing your tires? The inside of the tires are actually protected big time. There's a plate, like an armor plate. I'm trying to think of the name of it, that's why I stopped, but I'll throw the picture up of it. But it's an armor plate, a yellow 4-inch band that's just inside the tire. And then there's Tannis armor foam insert in there on top of that. So I got almost 18 to 20 mil thick before it even gets to the tube. Believe it or not, the tube inside there isn't any different size than a 26-inch regular, 2-inch wheel. You had to get a smaller tube. It comes in a kit. You get a smaller tube with the foam inserts. Otherwise, your other tube wouldn't fit in there at all. There's no way. So it's quite a ways before those screws will go down and hit the tube. Plus, I got 2 more bands. I got an extra band, spoke band, around the inside of the rim as well. So those are pretty much bulletproof tires. So those little tiny studs are not gonna blow my tire at all. Even if I slammed into a rock and drove that straight in really hard, the thickness of the lug is thicker than the actual. That's why I'm testing it to see if they stay in, because they're only threaded into the lug of the wheel. They're not threaded into any of the base of the tire at all. So hopefully they stay in. I use Gorilla Glue, dipped the lug in Gorilla Glue, and then hand screwed in every one of those on both tires. Yeah, the only reason why I didn't make a video is because I did it in my living room with the wheel between my legs and watching TV, and it took a while. I probably could have shown a clip of it, but it took a while, and I just didn't even think about the camera. But anyway, we're testing that, and we're testing this rack. Just got that, and I want to make sure that doesn't rattle and come loose, and so I just bolted that on yesterday. I made that fender. That fender did not come with it. That's actually the front fender, but I had both fenders off just because I didn't want them to get all beat up, because I ride pretty rough. But I modified that front fender so it wouldn't splash any water, because any water that comes off the wheel flings, as you know, but it goes this way, and that way is where the battery is, and water hits that battery, slides down, and then gets in between where it joins together and shorts out a little bit. So, and that's all protected. I got black tape around where they join together just to stop any moisture, because it's foggy out yet. It's supposed to hit 40 today, or darn close. So yeah, we're testing that, make sure it doesn't rattle and make a crap load of noise, the fender and all. So, and that came out pretty good, I think, for being a front fender, and it fit in there pretty good. I didn't want a whole fender to come around, because then you got to use the brackets that go, from the fender over where it mounts into that, and all that. It'll just get hung up and stuff, and which is the exact same reason I don't use a front fender, because it comes down, and then there's 2 little metal rods that go over to that, and all that stuff gets hung up on off-road. So I take them off. It was easily adaptable for what I needed right there. This is just so it doesn't fling mud and water all over that battery and then run down and then get where it connects. You can see where I put the black tape right here. Can you? Yeah, right there. All around that seam, all the way down. Just run electric tape, and then no moisture can actually get in. All my wiring connections are, this is a rubber tape. This right here. All the connections where they connect together. I got some plastic stuff around it just to keep it somewhat better looking, but I don't know if I like that stuff. But anyway, this is electrical rubber tape. It's not sticky at all, but it's rubber. It sticks to itself. I got that on all the connections, underneath especially, where it can get wet down there. Your cadence sensor or your torque sensor, depending on which one you have. There's a connection there that goes into your controller. Well, that's all rubber wrapped and everything's sealed up nice underneath there too. So yeah, we're ready to ride. We are ready to ride. This is for this mount here. It's for my backup camera. I'm not going to run it today because when it's wet and damp, it likes to not work well. And plus I have to figure out a way to route the camera to that right there so it doesn't rattle around. So I need to figure out that yet. And yeah, I'm not going to be riding anywhere where I need to see behind me. So, but anyway, we're going to get riding. I just wanted to do a little intro. There's a bunch of new stuff on here. This could be my 500-mile review, really. I'm over 500 miles. Let's turn it on real quick. There we go. 500. Can you see it? 556.4. So I've been over 500 miles for a while now. But yeah, this bracket here is for my backup camera and all that la-di-da stuff. I just put brand new hydraulic brakes on it. I got a bleeder kit coming Monday. They're pretty good right now. They're not bad, but I know there's some air in them because I did it all myself. Mounted everything and then routed it through the tube and everything, all done real nice. Rear one comes out on this side. Yeah. So you may hear a little bit of brake drag today because it's still chilly and it might be expanding the fluid enough to make the brakes drag a little, but if you do, that's the reason why. When it's cold out, hydraulic brakes like to expand the fluid. Maybe not so much with mineral oil, I'm not real sure, but that may be the reason why, because when I put them on and tune them, they were perfect. So if you hear any drag, it's because it's cold out. Fluid's moving. Alright, oh, and I put in a new riser. That's a way shorter riser. They had a 90 millimeter straight out riser, and that was way too much of a reach for me. So now I got a 60 with a 35-degree pitch, so it's back and up, which puts it, of course, more into a upright type position, obviously. But yeah, it's perfect, just perfect. Everything just fits now. Put brand new pedals on it, so when you put your foot on there and you actually have to pick it up to move your feet. There's no shuffling your feet around. Those pedals are fantastic. Put brand new grips because I put a thumb throttle on now. I can't push that because it's actually in, there we go, put it on 0. Instead of the twist throttle, I put a thumb throttle, and that is way better, so I can have a full-size grip. So much more comfortable, way more comfortable, and I don't accidentally twist the throttle by accident, like going up hills when you're really torquing. You hit that by accident and it just kind of like throws you off into the trees or something. I don't have that problem anymore because it's kind of you really got to reach out to do the thumb throttle now, where before it was just so easy to twist that by accident. Love this setup. Oh, so glad I went to that. And these grips here, made in Germany, they have a great sport grip feel. you know, like if you're a downhill kind of guy. Yeah, great feel for that. And this underneath is ribbed. It's got cutouts, so it's really flexible. Really flexible. So it's comfortable on your palm the whole way. Yeah, screw in, of course, got its own anchors. Yeah, they're great grips. Super great grips. I've ridden with them 3 or 4 times now, and I love them. What else? That's pretty much it, other than some personal things I got on there. I got a horn on there now because I put the hydraulic brakes, and the little dinghy bell that was on the other brakes went with them. So now I put electronic on. I'm not even going to turn it on. It's just a brant, brant. Sounds like a distorted Volkswagen. But you got to have something. So there it is. Don't think there's anything else that I've done. But a lot of the upgrades are just because, well, if you've seen my rear brakes when I took them off, yeah, I ride pretty hard. One of them was all just chipped, like there was a stone in there, and I crushed it, and it just blew part of the brake right out. But we're going to see how these hydraulics work over the winter, especially with the studs. Hopefully these studs will stay in for the ride today. I'm not sure how long I'm going to ride, but I'm going to try to put some miles in, give it a real test. So anyway, let's get to it. All right, we're out here. Yeah, these studs are really noisy on the pavement. Hear that cracking? So they're doing their job. It will be interesting to see if they all stay in. Be a little bit of pavement here, so now you'll hear them before we hit that dirt road. Oh yeah, you can feel them too. It's like riding on a washboard. Even with 15 pounds of air pressure and soft tires, soft suspension, I softened everything up. You can still feel it. If I close my mouth, I can feel the brrr in my gum line. Alright, kick it up to pedal assist 2 here. Hopefully we won't get wiped out and fall on our face. They are grabbing, I mean really good. I haven't done any sharp, quick steering or anything to test them out, but as far as back and forth steering, and they really grab in. I dropped my seat down a little bit just in case I need to put my foot down to save my ass, but I did have a little bit of brake rub coming over to this dirt road, so I adjusted that a little bit, so we should be good there. I didn't micro adjust them when I put them on. I did the typical put them on, squeeze the clamp or the lever to squeeze the brakes, and then tighten everything up and let it loose, and I called that center. It was just slightly off, and I had a little bit of a whistle, so I just adjusted it by hand. Now they're right on. They are grabbing though. Those studs are crazy good. This is all ice right here. Packed hard snow ice. With snow on top of it. Yeah, I'm not going to go up any higher and pedal assist 2, that's for sure. All the roads should be in this condition right here. Back here anyway. This is all ice. That's crazy how loud those studs are. It definitely worked really good. It's warming up. I can feel the humidity getting thicker coming up off the ground. Well, so I guess if I'm going to call this my 500-mile review, I should talk about the bike a little bit. Totally in love with this thing. I'm not surprised. It's everything I expected it to be, maybe even a little more. I mean, when it says long range, it really means it. Now, just because I changed the brakes does not mean that the stock brakes were inadequate. They were just not good enough for the way I ride. I ride hard, and when I go into a corner, I hit the brakes hard. So, but if you wanted to buy one of these off the showroom floor and ride bike trails, if you can buy one off the showroom floor and go ride bike trails, it's perfect for that. It's perfect for a lot of other things too. But if you're going to put a little bit of ass behind your riding, I guess you could say, if you're going to go places that you might not go with a fold-out bike or something like that, you might want to beef it up a little bit. I would highly recommend getting the armor off, or the armor protection kit for the tires, for sure. At least the foam part of the inserts. If you don't do the yellow protective band on the outside, that would be okay, but that's actually more protective than anything else in there. It's like an armor shield. The motor has never done anything to indicate that it's inadequate. The 750 motor. In England, they only go as far as 500 on these bikes. So we're a little more lucky that we can have the 750 here. It is a Class 3. And if you're worried that Class 3 rules are going to be changing soon, you might want to look and see where you live. far as state, city, whatever. Check your rules on Class 3 e-bikes before you buy any. Most places in the United States you will be okay right now. So this bike is a good commuter bike, beach bike, trail riding bike. I've had this on pretty rugged, chunky mountain bike trails that are made for regular, pedal mountain bikes, and had a blast with it. I will admit I stiffened up the front suspension really good so it wouldn't, beat the shit out of it. But if you know anything about bikes and you know if you have to adjust this or that to have a better ride on whatever terrain you're riding, then this bike is just perfect. Adjust your air pressure right for situations like this. Don't have 20 pounds of air, because now you're riding on the outer perimeter of your tire on ice. You need a flat footprint on stuff like this. So if you know a little bit about riding, you can make this bike do anything, go anywhere. I would not recommend going through deep puddles or any water that completely splashes up on it. That's a dog. Off in the distance, probably going to try to track me down, but even there again, I've had this bike in places that push the limits of its, as far as being water resistant. It's way more water resistant now because I learned my lesson. Don't do that because this will happen, and it happened, and I had to figure out a way to make that so that would not happen. Yeah, this dirt is getting soft. It's getting warm. Wow, these things really bite in on the dirt. You turn. Crazy. I did buy a Cloud 9 seat for this, thinking that, I don't know why, but thinking that the seat wasn't comfortable enough. I now have the stock seat back on, and will probably keep it on because it's more comfortable than a big, giant, thick Cloud 9 seat, believe it or not. I hated that seat. There was nothing about the seat once I put it on that I did like. I was always fiddling with it, trying to get it in a position where it could be comfortable. Yeah. It's in the van, and it's been there ever since I switched to. I'm going to give it away, even though it was a $50 seat. I'm going to give it away to somebody just to get rid of it. So, it really depends. Again, depends on what type of riding that you do. Now, that particular seat wasn't good because it was just so big that when I was doing chunky trails and the bike was bouncing around, and it would come up and jackass me right in the ass, and I could never get a good stroke on the pedal because the nose part of it was so short that when on my downstroke, the back of my leg would hit the seat, no matter what position I put it in. So by the end of the day, my back of my leg was actually aggravated because of it. So, if you're going to sit on your e-bike and just twist the throttle and go for a ride, oh hell yeah, perfect seat for that. Highly recommend it if you're going to do that kind of riding. But even this right here, where I'm non-stop pedaling the whole time, I would already be tired of that Cloud 9 seat. That needed to go. I had it on for 3 days. Because I thought, well, maybe it's me, and I need to really work it and figure it out, and da-da-da-da-da. It was no way. I took it off, put this original seat on, and right away knew that I did not need to change that seat. So even the stock seat, after all that said, on the bike is really good. This is just a really good bike, period. It's really easy to put a lot of miles on it really quick, because it's just a comfortable ride. And the more you tinker with it, the more you get it to fit you, the more you're going to enjoy it. Stock right out of the box when I started riding it, I put, I think, 25 to 30 miles on it the very day I bought it. I'm pretty sure of it, because I rode to the lake and back, and it's 16 miles to the lake, so yeah. Put quite a few miles on it the first day. So I knew it was going to be one of those bikes that, okay, I need to build this bike so it fits me perfect, because I already enjoy riding the hell out of it. And that's what I did. Just changed a few things that I personally needed for it to be better for me. You know, better brakes, better grips, better pedals. Nothing wrong with the pedals, but the knobs that they have on them were just little knobs in the pedals. You couldn't change them. They were metal pedals. Now they are metal pedals that come with it, so they're good pedals, but they just wore flat too fast. And then your feet start to slide around, and I just don't like that. I like my feet to stay on the pedals. I'll never change the handlebars. The handlebars are great. I love them. They're a perfect shoulder width for me. I used to be a flat bar handlebar guy, but the studs are great. See how she does going up this hill. I'll stay right in the ice. It's like it wasn't even there. Just climbing right up it. This guy probably thinks I'm crazy as hell. We might see some wildlife sometime today, throughout the day, especially right through here. Not a lot of traffic come back here. One of the many cool features about this bike is you can adjust all the settings inside the computer as far as how much you want the power assist to assist you. I've actually adjusted it so it benefits me more than just being power all the time. Like on Power Assist 1 on the stock setup, it'll bring you right up to 9.5 miles an hour, whether you like it or not. Well, I didn't like it because in the wintertime, 9 miles an hour on the bike can get you out of control really quick. So I figured out how to get into the control. It's in the manual, so it doesn't take much to figure out how to do it. You gotta know how to read. But I adjusted it so that my Power Assist now only gives me 5 miles an hour, which in return gives me way more control. I'm in Power Assist 2 right now, and it's brings me right to like a 10.5 mile an hour pace. But if I'm going to turn a corner, and like on this ice, if I want to slow down and turn a corner, you just push Power Assist 1 and I'll let that guy go by. You hit Power Assist 1 and it's so much easier to control in the corner. You don't get that lunge when you take a quick pedal. You don't get that lunge that just goes right to 9 miles an hour right now. I don't get that anymore. So you get a lot more control by going in and adjusting it to the way that you want to ride. Now I don't know if all bikes do that. I know a friend of mine has a fold-out kind of a bike, and his keyboard, computer, onboard computer thingy, whatever, it's very limited. It's basically on, off, and what power assist that you want to use. There isn't much that you can go in there and reprogram or anything like that. It's just kind of a fixed deal. So there may be other bikes out there that you cannot do any adjustments. So when you're out purchasing a bike, that might be important to you. You want to be able to set it up for your own taste and style. Very responsive in the dirt with these studs. You make a turn, it turns. That's fun. That was Christmas Day. I was sitting in my living room with both tires, studying these tires on Christmas Day. I'm a single guy, so there's no sitting around a tree with coffee and watching kids tear shit apart. Yeah, I live alone. I do all that stuff alone. You know, no remorse, no regrets. It's just, you know, if you're all wondering what the hell I'm doing on Christmas Day, putting studs in my mountain bike tires, that's why. I was watching a show continuously. I would just snowball and continue. That would keep my interest and also not make me get up and have to keep changing the channels all the time, because I'm a YouTube watcher and I don't particularly want to just keep switching channels all the time when I'm involved in stuff. So I ended up finding this channel that posts a bunch of TV shows from the show Who Do You Think You Are? I don't know if anybody's ever seen that, but it caught my interest and I started watching one, and I got into it to the point where I forgot I was studying my tires and I was really engrossed in it. Yeah, so I let that snowball for the day while I was doing my tires. And it's a show that's put on by Ancestry.com, I think, because they say those words a lot throughout the show, and they use the system on the computer, you know, Ancestry.com. They use that a lot on the show. But it's neat because the people actually travel and go meet people that have, you know, documents and certain places and whatever to learn about their family history. I thought it was a really interesting show. It was a cool way to spend the day. Ashley Judd was the one that caught my interest to the point where I couldn't stop watching it. She actually had descendants that come over on the Mayflower, which I thought was just amazing that you can go back that far. Yeah, there's a really good chance, anyway, because her relative name was actually on the roster list of the boat, so, you know, how do you not believe that? It's pretty amazing. Alright, this is going to be a little bit loud now because we got to ride this road for a minute. Sound like I got playing cards stuck in my spokes. That's crazy. Just turn off a paved road, right onto ice, no sliding. Control, way better. I kicked it down to power assist 1, so it'd have speed control. On top of having studded tires, gave me traction control. Yeah, I like this bike. Really, really easy to set up for yourself, no matter what style you like. Now it's a heavy bike, I'll give it that. You might as well say it's 80 pounds. So, you know, if you plan on picking it up to put it into your vehicle or your truck or whatever, expect that. But I'm 62 years old and I pick it up and put it in the back of my van and get up in there with it and strap it in. So, you know, you just got to put a little ass behind it and you can maneuver it around. You know, it's not that bad. It's a big e-bike. It's going to be heavy. The battery, it's not even really that much of the weight, but it does make it easier if you take it out. The battery, I think, is like 8 pounds or something like that. So 8 pounds from 80 still doesn't really, you know. But it helps. I'm not going to lie. You take the battery out and you pick the bike up, it's going to be lighter. I was the first person that waved. Everybody else was looking at me like I was crazy to be out here. I mean, this is Minnesota, people. I'm surprised I'm the only one doing this. A lot of people do the snowmobile thing in the winter time around here. That's fun too. I don't own one. I probably wouldn't own one. Puppy wanted to run and play with me. Unbelievable amount of traction. Gives you so much confidence. I haven't gotten nervous yet riding on any of this ice. See how many people are out on the lake ice fishing today. Well, there's at least one. saw more than one. Hold on. Let me get over here off the road and I'll show you guys. Ooh. Yeah, there's just a few people out there. I don't even know if you can see them. I mean, they're out there a little ways. But there's, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, about 25 to 26 fish houses right there. Oh, that's the drop off. It's a flat right here, all along this. Just a big flat. And then it drops off. I can feel the snow being really, like, you know, that crunch when you walk and you know it's really wet snow. Yeah. There's a bunch out there too, but they're way over on the other side, pretty much. Oh, there's a lot more over there than there is on this lake. There's a bunch out there. Probably too windy for you guys to even hear me right here.